Hey people, injured here, 3v3, Argus Desert Gate. Blue side we have Dio as an Apothecary, fights melee. By default, support commander can heal. Alongside Sev as a Techmarine, does some nice range damage and can put down defensive turrets and relay beacons, but you already see those things. B-Train rounds out the blue team on the east side. Big tanky melee commander, very tough, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. Red team we have Floid as a Hive Tyrant, even tougher than the Chaos Lord, fights melee by default, can walk through cover and cannot be suppressed, also emits a basic synapse, helping out non-synapse creatures. DAN1 as a Commissar Lord, fights melee, offensive and supportive commander. And Deceptive Wolf on the west side as an Eldar Farseer, looks like Oathway DLC that's been recoloured. Support commander that fights melee. Going to be up against an Apothecary on this west side, which is a long line of nice juicy resource points. We have Banshees on the field, which will be very, very bad news for Tactical Marines, or indeed that Apothecary if they get into melee with him. In goes the Farseer, very quick on her feet. Here come the Banshees now. Apothecary tries to kite away from them, but they're so quick they get into melee quite easily. Scouts taking pot shots with their bolters. Guardians bringing up the rear. Apothecary now in melee with Banshees is a very, very bad idea. If they get a special attack, knocking him on his ass, and there we go, it's a dead Apothecary. Shotgun scouts cannot stop the Apothecary dying. Banshees run away. Only lost a single member, pretty lucky there. And I expect these Space Marine forces to retreat. There we go. East side usually contested by 4 of the commanders, since it's the contested VP. Red at the moment, Chaos Lord whacking on a multi-last turret. Tries to use Kill the Weak, which didn't work. Dio annoyed about the shotgun's performance. Did not get the knockback, he claims. Spore mines on the field for Floid. Floating grenade unit pretty much, that's suppress when they detonate also. Nice AoE damage. Shuriken cannon on the field for Deceptive Wolf, very good on this map, especially on the west side where it's so narrow. Double CSM for B-Train, heavy ranged infantry. Both of the Space Marine players go for a Tactical Marine squad. Havoc's on the way now for B-Train. Danny goes for Imperial Guard and a Sentinel. Tier 1 vehicle that can decap points but cannot cap, really needs repairs. Double termagants for Floid. Light range infantry, usual build for Tyranids. Kiting away, they have the VP here. And we have Hormagaunts decapping Blue's natural in the north. Reds have a natural in the south. Big standoff all over the map. Got Space Marines heading to the middle. Commissar Lord is standing around there. Here comes the big Hive Tyrant. Warrior Brood on the way for Floid. Oh my god, they're going to get grenaded and completely wiped. That was crazy. Scout Sergeants give them a fragmentation grenade. That was nuts. They didn't seem to be that bunched up. Imperial Guard have now repaired up that Sentinel. Not sure what the Hive Tyrant's doing. He's flanking this Havoc. Set up team that suppresses with the heavy bolt. You see the firing up there, dodged by the Hive Tyrant, using his bolt to get in there and disrupt stuff with special attacks. But here comes the Chaos Lord, forces him off. But he has caused the Havoc to kite away, so all of these Imperial Guard and Tyranid forces can get in there. Getting flanked by Sev though, and his double Tactical Marines. Looks like he's going for a shooty Space Marine army up against what looks like shooty Tyranids. That might be interesting. Warrior Brood don't have their Barb Strangler. Start off as a melee unit. No slouch here either. See them leaping into combat there, disrupting these Tactical Marines. Backed up by the Commissar Lord. Havoc is in the building, is now getting out though. Here come guards on one squad. Down to 4 members but very little health. Tier 2 for DAN1 already. 381 plays 499. West side being dominated by this Eldar player. We do have Assault Marines though on the field now for Dio, which will hard counter that Shuriken. Though if they jump it, there are Banshees waiting around with their power weapons to slice them up. Apothecary really needs to be on his toes with that heal. They could do with one right now. Right now. Finally, get it. Very good play by DoW. Judging when they needed a heal there. I thought they were going to lose a member. And they have lost a member actually. Banshee's forced off. Farseer forced off. Looks like she has her Doombringer. Great weapon, I think. And her Armour of Fortune. Brood Nest going up from Floid allows nearby friendly Tyranids to reinforce around it. Has quite a long range too, now getting shot though by Tactical Marines. Reds still have that VP. Both Tactical Marine squads down to almost half health and are forced off before they can even try to decap the victory point. Are the Havocs going to venture forth and try? They of course don't know how far away these Tyranids are. Ravener Brood on the field for Floid, which will counter that Havoc with their Burrow Strike. Start off as a melee unit and cannot get their ranged weapon in tier 1 any longer. Manticore on the way from Dan, who has lost his Sentinel. Has his Power Sword on the Commissar Lord, back at base healing up. No war gear for the Hive Tyrant. Farseer decked out as we saw. Apothecary has his Mastercrafted Bolter, allowing him to sit back and support. Techmarine has Artificer, B-Train's Chaos Lord has the Combi Flamer. Chaos Space Marines decapping the VP. Enhanced Muscle Coil allowing the Raveners to stealthily burrow here. No aspiring champion on their Heretics, so they can't be seen. And here come the Tyranids, and now they can Burrow Strike on the Havocs and melee them to death. Havocs going for the building, looks like they're going to make it. Heretics there to support with a Doom Blast. Here come Warriors. Hive Tyrant's lost a lot of health. Really needs Dan to support, but he's gone tier 2 very quickly and has a Manticore out. Haven't seen it shoot yet. Chaos Space Marines forced off with a single member, chased by the Commissar Lord and that Power Fist of his. Also his Stubbornness. Going after the Tactical Marines now. They take the building. Guardsmen shooting at the Chaos Lord with their puny las guns, and there's a Manticore Strike on the building. Chaos Space Marines are also in there. Havocs are going to wipe, and there they go. Hive Tyrant being revived by the Commissar Lord. There he goes. Can now tie up the Techmarine, who also takes the building. Plasma guns on his Guardsmen, very nice versus heavy infantry. Meanwhile, west side, DoW has pushed back very nicely, has Devastators covering the central power there. Now shooting up a power node. Deceptive Wolf on the way back out is tier 2. DoW is a quarter of the way there. We see a Librarian hitting the field for Sev. Chaos Lord died up here. Commissar Lord capping the Eastern VP. We see mines going down from the Techmarine. Power node capped by red in the middle. Breakpoint uncapped. Deceptive Wolf pushing back, but doesn't really have a reliable way to get past that Devastator, especially on this narrow western edge. Assault Marines easily counter the Shrinking Cannon, and Deceptive is forced off. Needs a Falcon or something to push, or Wraith Guard, though they'd be countered badly by the ASM as well. It's a tough one. Do have a Barbed Strangler on this Warrior Brood. Ravener Brood and a Zone Throat. Zone Throat's seen a lot of favour in 3.18 since they got their speed boost, and their health regen got a little buff too. There's a Manticore Strike causing the Chaos Forces to move forward. Tactical Marines have their Sergeant. They have a Bolter and Bolt Pistol, and Chainsword. So they do pretty good range DPS with that Bolt Pistol. Zone Throat forced to retreat. Very vulnerable units. Sev unable to revive the Chaos Lord in that engagement. And Reds hold the east. West side has got all blue. DoW recovering for a bad opening. Razorback hits the field for Sev, support vehicle for Space Marines. Deceptive Wolf's yet to get anything in tier 2, not sure what they're waiting for. Does he want to go straight to tier 3 or something? Blood Crusher on the way for B train. Reds are completely pushing back blue side on the east, the exact opposite on the west. Banshees have their X out, but they're forced to retreat. Assault Marines jump the Shuriken Cannon, and here come Scouts with their Sergeant. Ravener Brood helping out by disrupting the Devastators, but they're forced off, might even lose the squad. No, looks like they'll get away. Didn't really help in the end. Deceptive Wolf unable to push, but there comes the Autarch. That's what they were waiting for, the red resource for an Autarch. Psychic Might, I believe it's called, for Eldar. Can she finish off the Devastator? She does! That incredible foot speed allowing her to catch that retreating Devastator. Dio must be pissed about that. 297366 double, no, we're 2-1 now for red. Ogren's on the way for Dan. Plasma Devastator on the field for Sev is idle at base. Artillery unit that sets up, now it's moving. Blood Crusher hits the field for B train, a demon that has vehicle armor. Fights melee, very quick, but not the toughest vehicle around. Chaos Lord leading the charge, there's Let the Galaxy Burn. Guards and squads are fully upgraded now with plasma guns and commissars. Commissar Lord, look at the regen he gets from stubbornness. Deceptive Wolf pushing back the west side, doesn't decap that power node though. It's coming middle where Dio is. I heard a smite go off. Made a bunch of stuff run away, but the Librarian himself runs away. Raveners are burrowed, nothing can see them. Enhanced Muscle Coil seeing a lot of action now that you cannot get the Devourer in tier 1. Blood Crusher scares off some guardsmen, and blue are taking the east side. And I don't think red's power is going to survive. Our Ravener's going to be brave enough to pop up here. No, waiting for support. Manticore Strike. Hits some tacticals. Ouch, got a very nice hit on those CSM also. Can the Ogres get in and finish off? Just a bit too far away. Do take out one member. Look how quick the Ogrins are when they're in charge mode. They shall know no fear, used by these tactical marines, giving them a damage reduction. Their sergeant gives them that ability. We do have a Venom Brood on the field for Floid. We'll make short work of that Razorback if it stays in range. Here comes the Chaos Lord, has his lightning claws. Will he engage the Ogrins? He does. Ogrins have their bonehead leader and make short work of that Blood Crusher. They do very good damage to all targets. Now switch to the Razorback. Ouch, a smite takes out 3 Ogrins and they might be finished off by the Chaos Lord here. Can he get a hit off? He gets 1 hit, 3 hit points, they get away, that's crazy. Commissar Lord has his Power Fist, which is pretty good on him because he attacks so quickly with it. Doing a decent job on that Chaos Lord. Raveners are very low on health but are burrowed. Autarch has her spear. Leaping into combat there. Farseer now has her Ghost Helm, which is pretty nice versus low model squads, I think. Decent damage and suppresses. Takes out a scout, does she? No, they get away with 3 members. And she's now stuck in melee with the Assault Marines. They have their Sergeant and Thunder and Lightning. Their Sergeant making them much better in melee. Ogrin's very expensive reinforcement for Dan. 239, 323, 2-1 cap for red team. They have the east back and their natural. Ravener Brood running away from something. Maybe they were trying to sneak and decap north. Tier 3 for Floyd, tier 3 for DoW2. Blue team pushed the east side again with a smite, and the Librarian runs away. Didn't really need to.
Make it so. Support structure complete.
Chaos Lord being revived by the Techmarine. Has his Icon of Gorn now. Hive Tyrant has his devastating Crushing Claw and the bonded exoskeleton. Deceptive Wolf pushed back completely. Terminators hitting the field for DoW, forcing melee on the Autarch with their power fists. She jumps a funny distance and then runs away. Terminators, super heavy infantry that cannot retreat, cannot be suppressed either.
Adding support structure.
Inspire nearby units. Every time they kill something, you see that yellow circle there. Stand off on the east side. Not sure what blue team are waiting for. Librarian's fully healed. Bring him to the east side, Sev. Zone Throat attacking ground. Devastator sets up. Look at the range it has. 215 plays 323. Reds taking back their natural. Raveners, are they going for blue's natural? And looks like Techmarine has his plasma gun now. Gonna go and scout the area, I think. Gonna get shot to bits by Termagants. Both have their toxin sacks as you'd expect. Now getting a ranged synapse from the Venabrood. Plasma Devastator only hits the Hive Tyrant slightly. Floyd must have heard the charge up sound there. DoW completely dominating Deceptive Wolf on this west side after a shaky start, and losing his Devastators does get Terminators out. And they're making short work of these Raveners with their Stormbolters. Floyd didn't realise and loses the Ravener Brood. See the bonded exoskeleton's invincibility. Manticore strike. Ouch. Very nicely done by Dan. B train got it very, very hard there. Almost wiped both of the CSM squads. That was a very, very good Manticore strike. We see a great unclear one on the way and an Avatar on the way. Hive Tyrant dies thanks to a Chaos Lord who's going to die himself. Tyranids range blob is pretty nasty right now. Here come Ogryns. Don't have their bone leader. Sev dies. Commissar Lord should get away. Yes. Lariman's Blessing revives the Chaos Lord and the Techmarine, and they run. That's a global ability of DoW's Apothecary. West side totally dominated by blue team right now. Here comes Deceptive Wolf to have another crack. Or will they wait for the Avatar? No, here they go. Great unclear one hits the field. Super unit for Chaos fights melee. He's going to come and smush some stuff on the east side. Power fisted Commissar Lord in melee with CSM and forces them off, and here's the great unclean one. Guardsmen really don't want to get anywhere near him. There's a Nurgle Puke which didn't hit anything. In melee with the Commissar Lord, is he? No, not sure what he's doing. There's Foul Snare which stuns the unit. Ouch. Taking a lot of damage from these Tyranids, and there's Imperial Abyss. Not sure why. B-Train put it there as a big juicy blob of Tyranids, and he tries to hit Ogryns with it. Cloud of Flies. Imperial Abyss is the global nuke of Chaos, by the way, if you didn't know. And the Brood Nest goes down. Great Unclear One wants to get out of there. Needs some support. Where are the heretics? Here they come. You need to worship the big fella. Anti-Ghost Strike. Again, decently well placed by Dan. Didn't quite hit those Tactical Marines. Librarian, Sub-Commander for Space Marines, seems to be retreating every time I see him. Blue's completely dominating the centre now thanks to DoW. He's done really well. Avatar out for Deceptive Wolf, and we see Seer Council, one of my favourite units. elite melee unit leap into combat, take out the Apothecary there with a couple of leaps, and DO is on the run. Terminators teleport away, of course they cannot retreat, have their assault cannon. Great Unclean One is back at base healing up. Let the Galaxy Burn, largely dodged by Floid, and we see a Carnifex monstrous creature can get a one of 3 upgrades. Don't see any yet. Starts off as a melee unit. Has vehicle armor. Not much here that can damage it apart from that plasma cannon, which will have trouble hitting it. And it's going right for them. Takes out a member in a single swipe since they're retreating. And Blues lose their natural victory point thanks to Seer Council. Plague Marines on the way for B train, also has a Chaos Predator on the field. Reds pushing back the east side very well. Land Raider Redeemer on the way for Sev. Dan surely saving for a Baneblade, have over 1,000 requisition. Should get a Stormtrooper squad or something, because it's going to take a while to get 200 power. Tyranids bashing up some power. Blue team really need to regroup and hit back the east. Still dominating the west. Looks like Deceptive Wolf is concentrated on the middle now. Farseer will be lucky to get away. Assault Marines don't engage her. Instead go after the Avatar, who has super heavy infantry armor. So you don't need anti-vehicle weapons to damage it. You see the amount of damage the assault cannon was doing there, and there's a Wailing Doom, very nicely done. Terminator's lost a lot of health there, even lost a member. Able to reinforce around the Razorback, and Avatar is running the hell away. Terminator is forcing melee with their power fists. Carnifex camping the east side. The Great Unclean One is back in play. Come on Tubbs, Nurgle needs a victory point. And there's a rocket run. That's devastating global ability by Imperial Guard. That's their nuke, and Chaos got owned again. That Commissar Lord doesn't like the Chaos Lord. Great Unclean One forces off Ogrins with help of the Chaos Lord. Now in melee with a Carnifex who has the Thornback. Makes him better in melee. It. Loads of stuff exploding on the west side. Seer Council forced to retreat. Cannot level up anymore. Neither can Terminators or Knobs, of course. Apothecary now fully kitted out level 5, Armour of Purity and improved medical equipment. 54 plays 2-3-5 blue team, cutting it close, but they have the tools to do this. Terminators, Land Raider Redeemer, Great Unclean One, Plague Marines. Here is the Land Raider, mobile base pretty much for Space Marines, reinforcement point, transport, retreat point, healing aura, and some pretty nice weaponry. Baneblade on the way for Dan. Ripper Swarm has been called down by Floyd. Single Ripper left. Still a 2-1 for blue. They have both of the naturals. Looks like they're just gonna focus on the center of the map. Manticore nicely placed for a strike. And here's a big shooting match. Here comes the Avatar, and as a very nicely placed Manticore. And Reds are pushing back well. Seer Council in there. Everything retreats back to the Land Raider. And more Terminators hit the field from Dio. Double Guardsmen with their plasma guns. Zone Throat getting some hits in. Here comes the Great Unclean One. And he's going to puke on the Venom Brood and the Hive Tyrant. Chaos Predator goes down. There's a Wailing Doom. Ouch, very nicely done on those Space Marines. Still a 2-1, but now for red. 47 plays 194. Tyrant formation on the Land Raider and all the stuff around it. Pretty nicely done. A lot of damage to Dio's forces. When you combine that Land Raider's health aura with the Apothecary's, it's pretty hard to kill stuff though, but the Apothecary's dead. Librarian in melee with a Carnifex. It's a pretty brave Librarian, now getting shot to pieces by Guardsman. 37 plays 194. Something is fighting over the Eastern VP. Commissar Lord up against Plague Marines. Their regen is crazy, but he is taking out members. Great Unclean One moves into the Guardsman up against a Carnifex now. Baneblade hits the field. Super unit for Imperial Guard bristling with guns. It might turn the tide of this huge running battle in the center. Here comes the Land Raider again. Imperial Guard very, very low on members. They need a Chimera, I think. Swarm Lord on the way for Floid. Will the game last that long? Apothecary's back up. Levels to 6. Techmarine's level 6, getting Orbs of the Omnissiah. And there's a time field from the Farseer. Apothecary gets away, does he? Yes. Ouch. And there's Gravity Blade on the double Terminators who are getting smacked up by Ogryns here. And here come the Tyranids. Terminators teleport out. Getting las cannons to the face from the Baneblade, which will hit Terminators since they're classed as a large unit. Tactical Marines capping the east side, which they do faster than any other unit. Are Reds going to defend the east or push the middle?
An ally has taken a victory point.
Swarm Lord's going to hit the field for Floyd. We'd have double Plague Marines for B-Train Manticore Strike. Killed a Devastator squad. Plasma Devastators that was, but didn't hit anything else. Here comes the Avatar. Time field on those Space Marines. I thought we were going to see a Wailing Doom, but he just stopped and shook his fist. 2-1 for blue now. 24 plays 166. Baneblade still shooting away. Avatar is snared by Plague Marine missiles, I assume. Here comes the Swarm Lord super unit for Tyranids, fights melee, devastating in melee, has vehicle armor too, and pretty quick. Also gives a very nice synapse which allows you to reinforce and boost your speed. Commissar Lord standing over the Chaos Lord, mocking him. Wailing Doom sends Plague Marines flying, but they tough it out. Swarm Lord in melee with a Land Raider. I assume that's a global repair going down from the Techmarine. Here comes the Great Unclean One again. East is all blue. Farseer died. As a frag grenade in the Guardsman, ouch. 12 plays 162. Nurgle vomits. Swarm Lord, Carnifex, Cloud of Flies. There's a Baneblade. Still very high health. Eldritch Storm teleported out the Terminators. And Seer Council are trying to decap the North VP. That's Guardian, sorry, with a Warlock. Seer Council are in there. Everything chasing this Great Unclean One. 12 plays 154. Can the blue team pull this off? Terminators forcing melee on the Commissar Lord. I thought we were going after the Baneblade. They take out the Commissar Lord. Very, very low on health, these Terminators. Well, they still have over 1,000 and over 700, but for Terminators it's low. And there's a rocket run, devastating, and the red team win it. Blue team just couldn't push enough, and these Guardians got the cap. That was a crazy running battle in the center, which seemed to last about 10 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. And sorry for missing stuff, which I'm sure I did.